Hi, I'm Joe Roth. At New Jersey Sharing Network, we're committed to saving and enhancing people's lives through organ and tissue donation and informing people about our life-saving mission. That's why we're proud to support programming produced by the Caucus Educational Corporation and their partners in public television.
Funding for this edition of One-on-One with Steve Adubato has been provided by Delta Dental of New Jersey. Everyone deserves a healthy smile. The Healthcare Foundation of New Jersey, founded by the Jewish community. Kessler Foundation, changing the lives of people with disabilities. The New Jersey Re-Entry Corporation, New Jersey State Nurses Association, and the Institute for Nursing. New Jersey Sharing Network, dedicated to saving lives through organ and tissue donation. And by Community Food Bank of New Jersey. Promotional support provided by NJ.com, Small News, Big News, True Jersey. And by Meadowlands Regional Chamber, building essential connections that drive business growth.
This is One-on-One. I'm an equal American just like you are.
The jobs of tomorrow are not the jobs of yesterday.
Look at this. You got this?
Here it is, man. Look at that.
Life without dance is boring.
I don't care how good you are or how good you think you are, there is always something to learn.
Do you enjoy talking politics?
No.
People call me because they feel nobody's paying attention.
Our culture, I don't think, has ever been tested the way it's being tested right now.
Such a good question. High five.
We are pleased to welcome Gary Krulish, who is co-chair, Justice Studies, Berkeley College School of Professional Studies, and Huda Shalabi is a student at Berkeley College. I want to thank you both for joining us. What are you studying right now?
I'm studying national security, and I will be graduating with my bachelor's degree in May, and I just received my associate's degree from Berkeley College in May.
That's beautiful. You know, every time we have someone from Berkeley that talks about the student connection to it, I'm fascinated by where the students come from, where they're going, but your program is unique. Talk about the key components of it.
I think the key components are the faculty in the classroom. We try to emphasize having individuals that have the credibility, and not just on the street, but the academic credentials. Some may call it scholarly practitioners. So a lot of people can talk about a textbook, talk about what's going on in the field, but it's also important at Berkeley to realize that we want individuals in the classroom to engage with the students, that it's not just things that are in the textbook. There's a lot of things that are not going to be in a textbook.
What are some of the key areas in your department?
In our department, the legal profession, the national security focus on...
Cybersecurity matter?
Yes, cybersecurity is very important.
The law enforcement piece I'm fascinated by. You have a desire to enter law enforcement.
Yes.
Where, in your hometown?
In my hometown, Patterson.
Patterson.
Yes.
One of the most diverse communities in the nation. Why law enforcement for you?
It's a passion of mine. I've been wanting to go in law enforcement since I was a child. And when I was 10 years old, I realized when I came home from school, my dad's equipment had been stolen from his backyard. And it left a pink residue on the floor, and it led to my driveway and up to the street to the suspect's house. So I probably shouldn't have followed the tracks as a child by myself. I came home and I told my parents, and they were very surprised. So my dad called the cops, and once they came, the detective spoke to me and said, "You solved this? You can be a detective or a cop with a great mind like that." And that just inspired me to actually take this seriously, that this is, this is how I can help the community.
Because law enforcement is potentially a very dangerous job, how supportive have your parents been?
Oh, they're very supportive of me. They want to see me succeed and attain my goals. And especially, hopefully I'll be the first Arab female hijabi wearing
the first?
The first in Patterson.
The first in Patterson?
Yes.
What is the impact of that?
It's a significant impact.
I'm not even say if it were to happen,
it
when
would be
it's
a significant impact because police department should reflect the community, and the classroom and the academic environment is one way to bridge that gap, to show students firsthand that police is changing and it's constantly changing, sometimes hourly, based on many of facets of how the job of a police officer, or anyone in law enforcement for that matter, has to be concerned with national security threats, where 5, 10, even 20 years ago, police officers were not being trained or educated on topics that they're getting today.
It's interesting, post 9/11, attitudes of many in this country toward people who come from another part of the world into our country this country, complicated. Do you think much about that? Attitudes.
There can be racial slurs here and there, but you just have to have thick skin, especially going in the field of law enforcement. So
you don't think much about that?
I don't think much.
But you also know that you will be a role model for many.
Yes,
and you have the
definitely.
potential to, I was saying that we did a series in partnership with our colleagues at Public Broadcasting called Building Trust, Police in the Minority Community. You have the ability, will have the ability, and when you do this, to attempt to build trust in a different way between police, law enforcement professionals, and those who come from either your community or neighboring countries into the United States. Is that part of the reason you want to do it?
I believe so. I can help out in that way as well, especially for those who do not speak English and only Arabic. I believe I can help in that way as well.
The diversity piece, we talk a good game, right?
We try.
Harder
it's
to
very
get it done.
important, though. It's very important. More than ever.
Make the case. Why now more than ever?
Because I think trust, I don't want to speak for any specific police department or agency, but I think trust is not as high as it should be.
All the polls show it.
And we have to rebuild that trust because it's still there. The police are there to serve and protect these communities, and they're not just there to police them. They're there to serve them. And I think getting back to the original goals and focus of policing, that what it says on a police car when I grew up as a kid, to serve, to protect and serve, is very important. And I think doing that in the classroom, doing that in the community, any avenue that we can do to rebuild trust is very important and crucial at this time in our society.
The criminal justice system.
Complex.
Yeah. And people think they understand it. Complex. I don't want to say fragile, but we need to understand and appreciate that it just doesn't happen by itself. It's not, you don't turn on a switch and, oh, there's the criminal justice system. How do you see it?
I see it's evolving. I think that it needs to be a little bit more compassionate, and I think it's getting there. I think we're learning from previous mistakes, whether it be from a national security front or from a sentencing reform standpoint, how we treat people, especially in the local level.
How we incarcerate people, warehouse?
From the front lines all the way up into incarceration. I think it's important to reevaluate every facet of the system because some of the areas may be broken, might be a good word to utilize, or in need of repair. Not that it's falling apart. It just needs some improvement.
And that's what you and your colleagues do. Before I let you out of here, describe your dream as a law enforcement professional. What does it look like?
It's a dream that I believe that I will be successful.
Well, I have no doubt about that. You want to make a difference, don't you?
Definitely want to make a difference.
Well, we wish you nothing but the best. We have all confidence that you will. And thank you so much.
Thank you. She's already making a difference.
Thank you, Huda. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thanks so much. Stay with us. We'll be right back right after this.
To watch more One-on-One with Steve Adubato, find us online and follow us on social media.
We're pleased to welcome Dr. Mark Einstein, who is Chair, Department of Obstetrics and Gynecology at University Hospital, and also Chair, Department of OB/GYN and Women's Health, Rutgers, New Jersey Medical School. Doctor, please do not tell me that's all on the same business card.
It kind of is, yes.
By the way, it's obstetrics and gynecology at University
You got
Hospital.
it, Steve, yeah.
Yes. By the way, what is that field?
The field is a comprehensive field of all of women's health. Women's health is not just about contraception and babies. It's about cancer care. It's about medicine that is related to some of the hormones and milieu that women go through that are different than men. It's related to menopause health. It's related to all forms of comorbidities. The #1 killer of women is heart disease. People think it might be other stuff too, but it's just as common heart disease in women as it is in men. And we have to do a lot to try to prevent these things.
Where you and I were talking real quickly before we went on the air about pregnancy, women having children. There are many terrific producers around here, happen to be women, having babies. I don't know to the degree to which I'm like, wow, they work hard. They're juggling all kinds of things. I don't know what they're feeling, what they're thinking. Here's the question. I swear there's one here. Do we even have a clue as to what most women deal with when they're giving birth?
I think women do. I don't think we do. I think
do
women
we try
do.
enough?
We need to try more. There's no doubt about it. We need to understand really what women are going through. And women, especially the first pregnancy, it can get scary. There are a lot of changes. There are a lot of challenges that happen. And, you know, it's the fear of the unknown, even the fear of just the process of the whole pregnancy process and the labor and the delivery. I mean, that could be a fearful process. I think with a lot of education, talking to your providers, it'll help kind of demystify it. And this is, I think, where the community sort of comes in too. I mean, one of the focuses that we have at University Hospital is we have a centering pregnancy program where instead of having each woman talk to their provider for like 8 or 10 minutes, it's a group of women talking to a provider for 2 hours. And they're all talking, they're all asking questions. And guess what? The one that doesn't say anything over here, the one asks the question over there, you know, that was my question too, you know? And it kind of brings that community together. And I'll tell you, our patient satisfaction is very high with these centering pregnancy programs. This is a movement that is taking one, especially in urban and multicultural areas of the United States, such as Newark, which is a very multicultural area.
Let's talk about the mother-baby connection. You have a mother-baby unit? Mm-hmm. Talk about it.
Yeah, so we have a lot of changes going on at University Hospital. It's we just renovated our labor and delivery unit, and it's exciting because it's a state-of-the-art unit, and it's not just the book cover, but it's the content that's in the book. We have experts that surround patients with a blanket of care, and they come from all cultures, and a lot of them come from the Newark community. And so they understand the other aspects of their care that goes into their health and goes into the quality outcomes that we want to achieve. And
Doctor, what does it mean to be baby-friendly?
Baby-friendly is a World Health Organization designation that says that a hospital it recognizes the role of breastfeeding right from delivery. And University Hospital is the first hospital in Essex County to establish this designation. It took us 3 years to get to this point. 90% of moms are leaving University Hospital breastfeeding, which we are very proud of. Why is breastfeeding best? Well, it's because it decreases a lot of disease. It decreases allergies, it decreases asthma, and we've learned that it ultimately leads to like the best outcomes.
It's so interesting. People think they understand the value of breastfeeding, but there's so many pieces to that. By the way, go on the website to find out more information. The other piece of this is the whole question of reducing the number of C-sections. Yeah. Because?
Yeah. Well, the C-section rate in this country has risen dramatically, and it's complicated. I mean, some of it is.
But it's just too high.
It is too high. It is too high. And ACOG, that's the American College of Obstetricians and Gynecologists, say the best mode of delivery is a vaginal birth. I mean, let's face it, moms have been having babies long before there were obstetricians, long before there were healthcare providers, even long before there were midwives and doulas and all the other affiliated healthcare personnel. C-sections, though, are necessary for a lot of pregnancies. There's no doubt about it. And so I think part of an obstetrician's job is to know when to be doing that and know when, you know, sometimes an obstetrician's best friend is a warm, comfortable chair. And this is what we need to be doing more of. And we have actually the lowest C-section rate in New Jersey at University Hospital. I love it.
Because?
Well, first of all, I love making a difference in the lives of my patients. I love feeling that their health outcomes are really going to be improving. My clinical work is actually in gynecologic cancers. So I'm a cancer surgeon, and I administer the chemotherapy. And so for me, I'm sometimes dealing with a lot of decisions between bad and worse. And while I don't make their disease, I like to help guide my patients to know where they're going and provide them with sort of the next level therapy. I mean, some of the things that we're doing even now at University Hospital, we now have a relationship with Rutgers Cancer Institute in New Jersey, which is the state's only NCI-designated comprehensive cancer center. And through this, we're actually be able to provide novel therapies, novel treatments in our backyard to the patients in Newark. So they're not only seeing what are the innovative therapies of today, but they're seeing the innovative therapies of tomorrow. And it's exciting.
Doctor, thank you for everything you do every day.
Thank you.
Particularly for the women in our lives. Thank you.
Thank you.
Stay right there. We'll be right back right after this.
To watch more One-on-One with Steve Adubato, find us online and follow us on social media.
So pardon me, but I've gotta run. Still, it's it's uncommonly clear. Yes, I gotta find who's now number one and why my angel eyes ain't here.
And a t-shirt.
Those beautiful sounds of Suzanne Cloud, Executive Director, co-founder of the Jazz Bridge Project. What were we listening to right there?
It's a tune called Angel Eyes. Yeah, it's something that Frank Sinatra.
I don't know these things. It was beautiful.
Thank you.
Where'd you learn to sing?
By myself at home since I was a kid.
Yeah. Tell me about this project.
I co-founded this Jazz Bridge with another Jersey girl, Wendy Simon, another singer. She was from Newark, and we had been singing full-time in the jazz community in Philadelphia. And of course, after you're singing for 10, 15, 20 years, you get to see an awful lot of great musicians fall through the cracks and really don't get the support that they need when they get really sick, when they can't pay their mortgage for some reason. If they don't work, they don't have the money to support themselves. And the jazz community, a jazz musician works like most people might not know, on the cash economy. You know, if they get a gig, they get cash, and then they go home. So they don't have pensions, 401ks.
How about health care?
No, they have no health care.
How about dental?
No dental. In fact, that's why I'm here today.
Big piece of it. Talk about that, the dental piece.
Delta Dental has been participating in our dental program for musicians for the last 4 years. We've been getting $5,000 every year, and it helps us help musicians, especially singers who need their teeth to sing, and reed players, people who play saxophones, clarinets, really anybody who goes on stage. If they don't have if their mouth doesn't look good, they're going to lose jobs. And if they lose jobs, then they can't pay their bills.
These jazz musicians, they've given so much joy to so many people. It's not that they don't think about their health care, it's just the way the industry set up, right?
Well, when you go to see a jazz musician, you see them dressed real nice, under the lights, performing, and you get this impression, everybody does, oh, they're doing great, you know. But after the spotlight fades and after they go home, you never know, they might be sitting in a house with no lights on. So it's just the fact that most musicians, and especially jazz musicians, there's no real support system for them. The DEA did a study in 2004 on the jazz musician, and they make about $8,000 a year.
What?
Yes, $8,000 a year.
That's, you can't live on that.
No, you can't. You can't. So that's one of the problems. You're really taking a vow of poverty when you say, okay, I'm going to devote my life to playing music that is complex, improvisational, very difficult. And they know that they're probably going to be poor all their lives, but this is the choice that they make. In fact, I noticed you have your doctorate. I got my doctorate from Penn, and my focus was on the Philadelphia jazz community. And I really wanted to answer the question, why do you choose this kind of work? Because you know you're going to be struggling your entire life.
What'd you get back?
Well, after doing a lot of life histories, oral histories, and it's really, most of it, what it came down to is they don't choose jazz. Jazz chooses them. And it's an aesthetic that they really can't live without. They must do this. It's a calling that is something that, if they didn't have that, they wouldn't play or sing as well as they do.
Before we go to the break, what is it that you love about jazz, you personally?
Personally, I like it's a way of expressing yourself in the moment and being able to be in a collective improvisational bubble with your fellow musicians. It really is like being in a bubble, and it's like a conversation you're having, like we're having right now, only with music. So it's a lot different. You and I are talking right now. We haven't rehearsed this, so I don't know what you're going to say. You don't know what I'm going to say, and but it's the same way with music. But most music is not like that. It's written down, you play it, and hopefully
Not
you
this.
play it right. Not jazz, right?
You mind if I tell everyone again? It is called
Sure.
the Jazz Bridge Project. I want to thank our friends from Delta Dental for telling us all about what you and your colleagues are doing. Suzanne Cloud is the executive director and co-founder. And I thank you for helping so many who have given so much to the rest of us. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Appreciate it.
To watch more One-on-One with Steve Adubato, find us online and follow us on social media.
Steve Adubato coming to you from the Healthcare Foundation of New Jersey. We are having a series of conversations, part of a series we're doing called Help for Our Heroes. We just did an in-depth panel discussion with a group of experts who care deeply about veterans. And we're now joined by Patrice Picard, CEO of Cornerstone Family Programs, which does?
Multidisciplinary organization. So we do programs from toddlers all the way through seniors, even adult day centers. We have a lot of children's programs, but really what we are really excited about is our military program. We were founded in 1813 to serve families from the War of 1812. So for us, it's really incredible to be able to be serving military families at this point in time.
You know, one of the topics that came up in our discussion, our roundtable discussion, was the need to provide help, services, for women veterans. And some said in that room, and I'm not even sure if it was you, is that women veterans don't identify as veterans. Explain that.
So women tend to identify as mothers, as daughters, as caregivers. They don't identify as veterans. And what we found is that the women don't identify as veterans because they have not been in direct combat. They don't see their job as important as some of the men's jobs in their perception. So when we talk to them, we ask them, did you serve? And when they say yes, they're almost surprised that we say, well, you're a veteran.
But if they don't identify as veterans, how much harder is it, Patrice, for them to access the help they need, whether it's mental health, whether it's oral dental health, whether it's helping to get trained for employment, whatever. If they don't identify in that way, isn't there a conundrum there?
Yeah, they don't access the services that they need. They don't even look to see what services they're eligible to access. So it's really difficult. We were in a conversation with a woman in a whole different setting, and we explained our program, and she said, oh, you know, I served in the military, and I've never spoken about it, even to my husband. So
how can we change that? I mean, for those of us in the media, what could and should we be doing?
I think we need to talk about women's service, and I think we need to talk about it both in the issues that arise from sexual trauma and all of the other things.
Sexual trauma?
Yes.
Could you talk about that for me?
Sure. Almost to a woman, most of the women that are in our programs have experienced some sort of sexual trauma in the military.
In the military. How's it often dealt with in the military?
It is not. It is covered up. It is not spoken about. The women themselves don't bring it up. So it is really suppressed because you're part of a unit. You want to be seen as part of the unit. You don't want to, break your unit apart.
But Patrice, doesn't that cause the woman in this case to be victimized more than once?
Oh, absolutely. And in not talking about it and not accessing the services, it's something that they bury that then comes out as they return to civilian life and try to go on with their life.
How does it come out?
It comes out in depression, substance abuse, inability to hold a job, PTSD. It is trauma. It is trauma just like trauma in war.
How sensitive are we as a society to what you're talking about right now? Do we appreciate that?
Yeah, I don't think we do. I think it needs to be talked about. I think we need to bring it up. And I think women need to understand that it's okay to talk about it.
But it's not only okay to talk about it. By the way, one of the things that was interesting is that in our roundtable discussion here at the Healthcare Foundation, one of the themes that kept coming up was that it's hard to get veterans to talk about that, men and women. But for us in the media, we need veterans to talk about some of these issues openly, to encourage others who are not talking about it, not dealing with it, to then acknowledge it and then potentially seek help. Is there, again, a catch-22 there?
I think we always have to keep in mind that the majority of our veterans are strong and well-adjusted, and they know, they can handle it because that's the environment that they were trained in, to be to be strong, to be resilient, Army strong, all of those. So I think first we have to understand that we have to acknowledge that. Then we say, okay, but you may need some help. And you may need some help. Everybody needs help once in their life.
Absolutely.
And here are the areas that we can help you with. So I think framing it in that doesn't mean you are weak. It means you have an issue that we can help you with.
Final question. Why do you do what you do?
Do what I do because I believe that everyone deserves a chance for a happy, healthy, and productive life.
Thank you, Patrice. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
One-on-One with Steve Adubato has been a production of the Caucus Educational Corporation, celebrating over 25 years of broadcast excellence. Funding for this edition of One-on-One with Steve Adubato has been provided by Delta Dental of New Jersey, the Healthcare Foundation of New Jersey, Kessler Foundation, the New Jersey Reentry Corporation, New Jersey State Nurses Association and the Institute for Nursing, New Jersey Sharing Network, and by Community Food Bank of New Jersey. Transportation provided by Airbrook Limousine, serving the metropolitan New York, New Jersey area. One-on-One with Steve Adubato has been produced in partnership with TriStar Studios.
I cry when I'm hungry because it's really hurtful to my stomach.
When you feel sad that you don't have food, like at the table.
I feel weird because my tummy starts grumbling.
Sometimes all that makes you feel better is food.